October 10th, 2023, 2:34 a.m. Avdiivka, Donetsk Oblast. Russian assault wave advances. 300 soldiers. Fourth wave today. Previous 3 were destroyed. Bodies from morning assault still in the streets. Doesn't matter. Fourth wave attacks anyway. Target: fortified Ukrainian positions in industrial district. Coke plant. Chemical plant. Concrete buildings converted into fortresses. 8 months of Russian assaults. 8 months of Ukrainian defense. 25,000 Russian casualties. Town still holds. This wave would join the count. The assault begins. Infantry advances under artillery cover. Crosses 400 meters of open ground. Ukrainian defenders wait. Let them close. 200 meters. 100. 50 meters. Then open fire. Machine guns. Automatic grenade launchers. Anti-tank missiles against bunkers Russians are using for cover. Assault wave disintegrates in minutes. Survivors retreat. Leave wounded. Leave dead. Ukrainian positions remain intact. Fortified. Unbreached. Ready for fifth wave, which will come tomorrow or tonight. Always comes at 3:47 a.m., 73 minutes after assault began. Russian forces count losses: 87 dead, 112 wounded, 0 Ukrainian positions captured, 0 breakthrough achieved, 0 progress made. This is normal. This is Avdiivka. 8 months of this, every day, multiple waves, thousands of casualties. Town still stands, still Ukrainian, still killing Russians who try to take it. This is IronBullet, and what's happening at Avdiivka isn't battle. It's industrial slaughter, where urban fortress meets determined defense meets attacker who keeps sending men regardless of cost, where 8 months of continuous assault has achieved minimal gains for catastrophic casualties, where 25,000 Russian soldiers have died or been wounded trying to capture a small town that has no strategic value worth one life, let alone 25,000. The question isn't whether Russians are dying at Avdiivka. Body count proves they are. Question is why. Why continue attacking position that can't be taken by frontal assault? Why accept casualties that would break any rational military? And what this reveals about Russian command's willingness to sacrifice unlimited men for symbolic objective that means nothing strategically. Official Russian statements about Avdiivka: optimistic, offensive progressing, Ukrainian defenses weakening. None of this is true. Avdiivka defenses are stronger now than 8 months ago. Every Russian assault teaches Ukrainians how to kill more efficiently. Fortifications improve, tactics refine, defenses strengthen. Russian statements ignore reality. Pretend progress exists. Casualties don't matter if you pretend they don't exist. Ukrainian statements scream pride. Avdiivka holds. Daily updates on Russian losses. Videos of destroyed assault waves. Emphasis on defenders' advantage. This is propaganda, but also truth. Avdiivka does hold. Russians do die trying to take it. Ukrainian defenders are exhausted, undersupplied, constantly bombarded, but undefeated. That matters. In warfare, holding under impossible pressure is victory, even when it looks like hell. Stay with me, because the detail that explains Avdiivka, why 25,000 Russian casualties haven't taken small town, is going to show you that urban warfare favors defender overwhelmingly when defender is competent and motivated. That fortified positions in industrial buildings are nearly impossible to assault without air support and massive fire superiority. That Russian tactics haven't evolved since Grozny 1995. that modern warfare has made frontal assault into prepared urban defenses catastrophically costly, and that sometimes militaries continue failed operations not because success is possible but because stopping means admitting waste. That calculation has killed 25,000 Russians at Avdiivka. And counting, let's establish what Avdiivka actually is, why it matters, why it's a fortress. Avdiivka. Pre-war population 31,000, industrial town, coke plant, chemical plant, multiple large concrete structures, built Soviet era, heavy construction, thick walls, reinforced for industrial use, perfect for military fortification. Since 2014, Ukrainian forces have held Avdiivka. 9 years of preparation, trenches, bunkers, fighting positions, underground tunnels, everything optimized for defense. This isn't town. This is fortress. Strategic value, minimal. Avdiivka is 5 kilometers from Donetsk city. Russians wanted to push Ukrainian artillery away from Donetsk. Symbolic more than strategic. Taking Avdiivka doesn't enable operational breakthrough, doesn't threaten Ukrainian logistics, just removes Ukrainian observation posts and artillery positions near Donetsk. Worth some effort, not worth 25,000 casualties, but Russian command committed anyway. Terrain, urban, industrial. Large buildings provide cover and firing positions for defenders. Open ground between buildings creates kill zones. Rubble from 8 months of bombardment provides additional cover, but also conceals Ukrainian positions. Attackers must cross open areas under observation. Defenders fire from hardened positions with prepared fields of fire. Terrain heavily favors defense. Russians attack anyway, repeatedly, predictably failing. Ukrainian defenders, 110th separate mechanized brigade primarily, plus support units, artillery, drones, total defending force, approximately 2,000 to 3,000 soldiers, rotated periodically, resupplied at night, exhausted, under constant pressure, but holding. Morale is complex, combination of pride, exhaustion, determination, and knowledge that abandoning Avdiivka means Russians push artillery toward other towns. So defense continues. Despite cost, Russian attackers, multiple units, again Combined Arms Army, 41st Combined Arms Army, elements of airborne forces, naval infantry, private military companies, thousands of soldiers rotated through Avdiivka assault. Casualties accumulate, units shattered, rebuilt, sent back, cycle repeats, no learning, no adaptation. Just attrition warfare where Russians accept casualties Ukrainians can't match. Except Ukrainians are defending. Casualties are asymmetric. Heavily favored defender. October 10th. The assault. What 300 Russians experienced in 70 minutes. 2 a.m. Russian forces staged at assembly area 2 kilometers from Avdiivka. Officers brief assault plan. Same plan as yesterday. And day before. And day before that, advance across open ground. Suppress Ukrainian positions with small arms. Enter buildings. Clear room by room. Theoretical plan never works. Officers know this. Soldiers know this. Orders are orders. Assault proceeds. 2:15 a.m. Artillery preparation. Russian guns fire on Ukrainian positions. Standard pre-assault bombardment. Supposed to suppress defenders. Keep them in cover during assault. Theory is sound. Practice is different. Ukrainian positions are hardened. Artillery damages buildings but doesn't penetrate bunkers. Doesn't kill defenders. Just makes noise. Warns them assault is coming. Gives them time to prepare. 2:34 a.m. Artillery lifts. Assault begins. 300 Russian soldiers advance. Small groups, 5 to 10 men each. Dispersed. Move from cover to cover. Standard infantry tactics. problem, cover is limited, open ground is extensive. Ukrainian observers see them immediately, track movement, calculate positions. Russians are 300 meters from Ukrainian positions, still advancing, taking sporadic fire. Nothing intense. Ukrainians are letting them close. Standard defender tactic. Let enemy enter kill zone before engaging with full force. Russians know this. Can't stop. Must continue. Orders require reaching Ukrainian position. Can't reach them if you stop. So continue into obvious trap, knowing it's trap. 2:45 a.m., 200 meters. Ukrainian fire intensifies. Machine guns. Multiple positions. Interlocking fields. Russians take cover behind rubble, craters, anything available. Some return fire. Can't see targets. Ukrainian positions are fortified, concealed. Flash suppressors hide muzzle flashes. Russians shoot at general. Direction. Hope to suppress. Don't suppress anything. Ukrainian fire is methodical, aimed, effective. Russians start dying. 2:50 a.m. Russian officers order advance. Can't stay pinned. Must close with enemy positions. Suppression has failed. Only option is assault. Get close enough that Ukrainian defenders can't use heavy weapons without risking themselves. Suicide tactic. Only tactic available. Groups attempt to advance. Most get cut down immediately. Few reach buildings. Enter ground floors. Begin room clearing. This is where urban warfare becomes lethal. Ukrainian defenders know building layouts. Prepared positions on upper floors. Russians enter blind, move room to room clearing. Ukrainians shoot through pre-cut holes in floors and walls. Russians can't fight effectively, can't see enemy, can't maneuver. Just die in confined spaces designed to kill them. Some retreat, most don't make it out. 3:12 a.m. Assault is failing. Russian casualties mounting. Officers call for artillery support. Danger close. Risk hitting own forces. No choice. Ukrainian positions must be suppressed. Artillery fires. Shells land on buildings Russians just entered. Some hit Ukrainians, most hit Russians. Friendly fire casualties added to combat casualties. Assault dissolves completely. 3:15 a.m. Surviving Russians withdraw. Under fire. Ukrainians pursue with machine guns and mortars. More casualties during retreat. Wounded left behind. Dead abandoned. Russian forces return to start positions. Count survivors. 213. 87 dead or missing. Artillery killed at least 15 Russians in friendly fire. Ukrainian positions captured 0. Buildings cleared 0. Progress made 0. Cost catastrophic. 3:47 a.m. Russian command evaluates assault. Decides to try again tomorrow. Different axis. Same tactics. Same predictable result. This is Avdiivka. This is every day. Multiple assaults. Massive casualties. Minimal gains. 8 months of this. 25,000 casualties. Town still stands. Still Ukrainian. Still killing Russians. Pattern never changes. Now the analysis, why this continues, what it means. Urban warfare defensive buildings provide cover and firing positions. Rubble creates obstacles for attackers. Defenders know terrain. Prepared positions, interlocking fields of fire. Attackers must cross open areas. Enter buildings blind. Clear rooms against enemy who knows layout. Math favors defender overwhelmingly. Modern weapons make this advantage decisive. Avdiivka proves this daily. Russians haven't learned. Keep attacking same way. Keep dying same way. Fortification, multiplication. Ukrainian defenders spent 9 years fortifying Avdiivka. Every building is position. Every basement is bunker. Underground tunnels connect positions, allow movement without exposure, resupply without crossing open ground. This fortification multiplies defensive capability. Small force holds against much larger attacker because positions are nearly impregnable to frontal assault. Only way to take fortified urban positions is systematic reduction with overwhelming fire support, or bypass and isolate. Russians do neither, just assault frontally, repeatedly fail. Russian tactical stagnation. Russian tactics at Avdiivka are identical to Grozny 1995. Frontal infantry assault with artillery support. No innovation, no adaptation, no learning from failures. Units get shattered, replaced. New units use same failed tactics. Institutional learning doesn't occur. Doctrine doesn't evolve. Just repeat failed assaults expecting different results. Definition of insanity. Also definition of Russian military operations at Avdiivka. Casualty acceptance pathology. Russian command accepts casualties that would be unacceptable to Western militaries. 25,000 casualties for small town. Unthinkable in professional military. But Russian command continues. Why? Multiple factors. Authoritarian government doesn't face domestic pressure about casualties. Conscript contract soldiers are expendable. Symbolic objectives matter more than human cost. Admitting failure means admitting previous casualties were wasted. Better to continue failing than admit waste. This thinking killed thousands. Will kill thousands more. Strategic meaninglessness. Even if Russia captured Avdiivka tomorrow, strategic gain is minimal. Removes Ukrainian artillery from Donetsk suburbs. That's it. Doesn't enable breakthrough. Doesn't threaten operational objectives. Just tactical adjustment. Worth effort. Not worth 25,000 men. But Russian command values symbols over strategy. Avdiivka is symbol. Must be taken, regardless of cost. This is military dysfunction at strategic level. Produces tactical catastrophes like daily assaults into prepared defenses. 3 questions from the beginning. Time to answer them. Why haven't 25,000 Russian casualties taken Avdiivka? Urban warfare favors defender. Ukrainian fortifications are extensive. Russian tactics are outdated. Attackers must cross open ground into prepared defenses repeatedly. Each assault, cumulative casualties are catastrophic but don't translate to progress because assault tactics don't work against prepared urban defenses. Russia lacks capability to conduct systematic urban warfare. Only has capability for costly frontal assault, which fails repeatedly. Why does Russian command continue failed operation? Multiple reasons. Symbolic importance of capturing Avdiivka. Sunk cost fallacy, already sacrificed so much, must justify by continuing. Institutional inability to admit failure. Political pressure to show progress. Authoritarian system allows casualty acceptance unthinkable in democracies. All combine to create situation where failed operation continues because stopping means admitting failure. Continuing means pretending eventual success is possible. Pretense kills thousands, but preserves commanders' positions. What does endless siege reveal about modern warfare? Urban warfare with modern weapons is catastrophically deadly for attackers without overwhelming fire superiority and air support. Frontal assault into fortified positions is obsolete. Russian military hasn't absorbed this lesson. Continues tactics from previous decades. Pays price in casualties. This suggests future urban battles will be attritional. Sieges rather than assaults. Defense dominant. Offense catastrophically costly. Avdiivka is microcosm of broader pattern. Attackers without technological tactical superiority bleed to death against prepared defenders. The lesson from Avdiivka is that urban fortresses are nearly impregnable to frontal assault. Ukrainian defenders prove this daily. Russian attackers proved this with their corpses. 8 months, 25,000 casualties. Minimal progress. Pattern is clear. Tactic is obsolete. Cost is unbearable for rational military. But Russian military continues because rationality is secondary to political, symbolic objectives. Soldiers die for commanders' pride, for politicians' propaganda, for symbolic objectives worth nothing strategically. That's Avdiivka. That's Russian military in Ukraine. That's why 25,000 casualties achieved nothing except proving urban defense dominates urban assault when defender is competent. This is IronBullet. We analyze battles that define wars. Avdiivka defines modern urban warfare, where defense is dominant, where fortification multiplies defensive capability, where attacker without fire superiority bleeds to death against prepared positions. Russian military demonstrates this daily. Ukrainian defenders prove it with survival. 25,000 Russian casualties prove it with deaths. Pattern is conclusive. Doctrine is clear. Urban assault without overwhelming advantage is suicide. Russia attempts it anyway. Results are predictable. Bodies accumulate. Town remains Ukrainian. War continues. The streets of Avdiivka are graveyard. 8 months of corpses. Some recovered. Most remain. Buildings are fortresses. Every window is firing position. Every basement is bunker. Every room is potential tomb for attackers. Ukrainian defenders live in this hell. Constant bombardment, constant assault, constant pressure, but holding because alternative is retreat. Retreat means Russians push toward other towns, other defenders. So Avdiivka holds, however exhausted, however costly, however hopeless it seems. Defense continues because yielding is unacceptable. Subscribe to IronBullet because in modern warfare, fortified urban positions are nearly impregnable without overwhelming fire support. Avdiivka proves this. 8 months proves this. 25,000 Russian casualties prove this. Ukrainian defenders prove this by surviving against force that should have overwhelmed them months ago. They survive because defense has advantage, because fortifications work, because Russian tactics don't. Gap between defender capability and attacker competence is measured in corpses. 25,000 and counting. Number will increase. Pattern won't change. Avdiivka will hold or fall eventually. But cost will be catastrophic regardless. That's modern urban warfare. That's Avdiivka. That's reality Russian command refuses to acknowledge even as casualties accumulate. 8 months. 25,000 casualties. One small town. Still Ukrainian. That's Avdiivka. Proof that determined defender in fortified position can hold against numerically superior attacker who lacks tactical sophistication. Proof that casualties alone don't determine outcomes. Proof that modern urban warfare is bloodbath that favors defender overwhelmingly. Russian command learned nothing from this. Continues same tactics. Expects different results. Ukrainian defenders learned everything. Improved defenses, refined tactics, become more efficient killers with each Russian assault. Gap widens, Russian losses accelerate. Avdiivka holds. Pattern continues until something breaks. Will be Russian commitment probably, or Ukrainian exhaustion possibly. Neither imminent. So siege continues. So casualties accumulate. So hell persists. If you think urban warfare has become too costly for offensive operations, type IronBullet in comments. If you think different tactics could take Avdiivka without catastrophic losses, tell me how. Because current Russian tactics demonstrably fail. 8 months proves failure. 25,000 casualties proves cost. Town still stands proves defenses work. Alternative tactics require capabilities Russia lacks. Air superiority, precision fires, systematic reduction, bypass and isolation. Russia attempts none of this. Just frontal assault, just casualties, just failure. Avdiivka is monument to tactical obsolescence. Russian command builds this monument with bodies of their soldiers. Monument grows daily. Lesson remains unlearned. Real battles, real tactics, real consequences. Stay informed.